All right, we'll go ahead and get started. 4B meeting for Tuesday, November 27, 2018 at 6:31 p.m. All members are present except member Anthony. We will move to the public forum. If there's anybody in the public that would like to speak, you may come forward at this time. Hi, Derek.
Good evening. Derek Salzer, 345 New Hope Road, Sunnyvale. Well, I thought I'd give you a quick update of what your grant funds are up to next door over here. Just in 7 weeks of construction, we've only had 3 weeks of rain delay. So not too good. Hopefully we'll make better progress in the coming months. But you will be glad to know that even in those 7 weeks, we've already spent more money than both 4B and 4A grants total. So I don't know where all that money's going, but it must be going in the dirt somewhere because there's a big pile of dirt and lots of things under the dirt, which you guys will never see. And yes, I was not kidding when I said we're spending $1 million just on infrastructure and underground things. So that being said, if you guys would like to get this, and this is the weekly updates that our contractor gives me, it has pictures of everything that they do during the past week, and then it has a summary page of what they did each day and what they're going to do next week. So if you'd like to be on this email list, just tell Tracy, or you can send me an email. My email is on the sign out there, and I will get you on that weekly status report. Does anyone have any? I guess you don't take questions and answers in the public forum, do you? But if you had a question for me, I'm happy to answer anytime.
Thank you, Derek.
Awesome.
No one else coming forward, we will close the public forum and move on to presentation number 1. Discuss and consider presentation from Hope Coffee, Sunnyvale.
I'll turn this over to Brian.
It's great to be with you guys tonight, and just kind of give you guys an update of what we are planning on doing and looking forward to having next door to you guys. So we are working on building a coffee shop next door once all the property is complete, once the buildings are complete. Just to give you kind of a brief update on what Hope Coffee is and what we do. We've been around since 2011. We serve over 400 churches and businesses across the United States. You can see on the screen some of the logos of some of the churches that are here in the vicinity. In Sunnyvale, Berean was renamed Hope Church, and then Fellowship Forney, Lake Ridges in Mesquite, Center Points in Mesquite. Some of these other churches in the DFW area, as well as Interstate Batteries. And we do operate a coffee shop at Dallas Theological Seminary and supply coffee at Criswell College. But those are some of the fun things we get to do, not only selling coffee, but using the profit to meet the needs of people and communities in Honduras. And how that relates to Sunnyvale is that we do plan on providing great coffee to you guys and for you guys. We are working toward hiring managers to manage the shop, baristas that we will engage to take care of all of the needs of the customers that are coming in to our location. Our coffee comes from Honduras and Mexico. We do have some from Guatemala as well. But it is great tasting coffees, things that you will enjoy, snacks and other things that you will enjoy. We're working on the menu in coordination with who the restaurant will be to make sure we can provide the best things possible for you guys. In 2021, we do plan on adding additional baristas as needed based on our projections of sales and things for that location. We also are providing a great community just for the type of location this is and a place for people to hang out. We've had many comments of people wanting a place to come and hang out and to meet and to have meetings and to engage with other people. And so it's going to be fun to be able to provide that for you guys. We do project $450,000 in the first year in sales, which will generate around the $37,000 mark on the 8.25% tax revenue for you guys. So Not only is that providing community of engagement for people to enjoy the coffee and to have meetings and things, but also to be able to build the infrastructure and things for Sunnyvale to be able to hopefully attract other customers as well as other businesses and things in the community. We also do provide a great service. We pride ourselves on not only great coffee, but serving people well, which is why our tagline is also served better. That's what we do and have done for a number of years. We've operated the coffee shop at Dallas Theological Seminary for over 4 years and have served very well there and continue to plan on doing that here. The infrastructure cost, what we're looking, the total cost of the project of the build out of the coffee shop is a little over $200,000, with the infrastructure being about $100,000 of that. $75,000 go into plumbing, sinks, kitchen type things, as well as just grease trap and all the types of things that the health code requires us to do to provide great service. Roughly $25,000 will also be included into the drive-through type service and things that we're going to be doing. We're looking at a little bit different drive-through scenario. I know that hasn't gone before the city for approval and all those things, but mobile ordering pickup type window situation where it's a little bit different than your typical drive-through scenario. Having a mobile app and mobile ordering pickup is what we're looking at. So we want to provide great service for you guys. As you can see, this is the projected look of the land, the layout, and different things. We are requesting $50,000 from the Sunnyvale EDC, which will help offset our infrastructure cost as well as the initial labor. It is a very labor-intensive type product, and with a pickup window, mobile ordering window, we're going to have that staffed and well-staffed for the drive times when people are coming through there. And so that's kind of in summary, projected $450,000 in sales, $37,000 in annual revenue for tax purposes. The infrastructure costs are around $100,000, and we're requesting $50,000 from the ED. That's all I have.
All right, thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And y'all are really welcome to ask any questions if you have.
What's the, maximum occupancy of the facility when you're built out?
Honestly, I don't know that. We're building about 1,500 square feet. We're working with the restaurant to co-share that space, but it'll be about 1,500 square feet with the patio arrangement there. I don't know if anybody else in our crew can answer that question. But I would estimate you're probably going to get about 30 to 40 people in that vicinity.
What happens if they don't approve a drive-through area?
We will revamp the plan to have some sort of delivery, mobile delivery or something of that nature if we can. The things we're studying for the way the economy is going and the industry for that type of thing, there are a number of people going more towards a mobile pickup type situation, which may require us to hire more staff to be able to deliver them out the door if we do something of that nature. Yes, ma'am.
Like in the parking lot area?
Correct. Not that we want to create a Sonic pickup type of situation, but we do want to serve well in that scenario.
Did the original plans have a drive-through in it though for the overall?
Yes, sir. On
Footprint?
that, we do have a drive-through planned on there.
But I'm saying of the actual overall complex, wasn't that already in the plan?
It is. There is, as I've learned, there is some discussion, I guess, that the city needs to approve
A different
to be able
level?
to do that.
Okay.
Eric, can you speak on the drive-through portion?
I was just asking, wasn't it already approved on the master
Oh, yeah.
plan?
Well, the site plan is approved, but you have to have a special use designation for the app through, as we're
Oh,
calling it.
okay.
It won't have a box where you pull up an order, but it will also have multiple, it'll have about 6 cars stacking in the line, but then if, depending on how sophisticated the software is, we'll have 1, 2, or 3 spaces just to the north of the drive-through that, you may even select on your app. It'll tell you to go to space number 2, pull in there, then they'll bring it out to space number 2. Or if yours isn't ready and you come to the window, You know,
Right.
you'll go to space 3 or 1 or whatever it is. It's a logistical challenge, but there are some restaurants like Chipotle that are completely going to the app.
Yeah. So it's not approving the drive-through, it's approving the system for the drive-through.
I think it's, well, let me just tell you, the Uniform Development Ordinance is kind of outdated in this chapter. I know it's a new thing, right? But it doesn't even speak to this kind of drive-through in the ordinance. So it has a requirement of 200 feet of drive-through stacking. 4 behind the order box and 6 in front, with 20 feet for each, so that's 200 feet. That's as wide as our whole property. So we don't want a Chick-fil-A situation where there's double drive-throughs wrapping the building and backing up into the street. So it'll be very intentional and very well-oiled machine is where we're heading with that, where I think Brian wants to go with it.
And then your facility, is it Rockwall or Heath is the,
Heath is our sister facility that I've developed.
It does not have a Hope Coffee Shop.
Oh, okay.
No, it doesn't have a Hope Coffee.
so where's the nearest one of something in this concept?
We do not have any coffee shop with a drive-through. We have a coffee shop at Dallas Theological Seminary that's on campus.
Right.
So it's inside one of their buildings.
So this is your first kind of,
Drive-through and local location, which is part of the reason why we're requesting the money to make sure that we have it staffed well to be able to deliver great service.
okay, cool.
Is part of your question, where can you go look at this kind of app pickup?
Well, I was just
It's not
Hope
Hope
Coffee in general,
Sure.
but then secondary, yeah, I haven't experienced the app
Okay.
pickup thing.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the Walmart grocery pickup, where where you say that you're on your way,
Right,
and you tell
that's
them
exactly what it is.
what stall you're parking in, and they bring your groceries out to you.
There are several different POS systems that provide that type of thing. Different groups are beginning to create that for restaurants, for quick service restaurants and those types of things. So we're kind of following and talking with them in dialogue to make sure we select one that's going to work well for the situation.
McDonald's has a mobile app too.
Yes, McDonald's does have a mobile app where you can pull up to a parking spot and tell them where you are.
I don't get it.
I've never used it.
What is in your industry, you understand these things, what's the average serve time in a coffee pickup like a Starbucks or?
Starbucks average is about, from the time you order to the time you pick up, is right around the 8-minute mark of waiting in line. In store, it should be at the 3-minute mark. And there are a number of independent coffee shops that have that closer to about 1.5 to 2 minutes, depending on how many baristas they have staffed and different things.
By having the drive-through, how much do you think it'll improve sales?
We are projecting, gotta remember that stat. We're projecting about, I want to say it's around 35 to 40% is actually going through the drive-through window.
And Starbucks, 50% of their sales is the drive-through, when on the stores that have drive-throughs.
Do you think, Derek, do you think this is gonna affect the businesses that are already, or may already be there, traffic-wise?
Well, if I had the chart that you'll see, if you come to the council meeting or whenever I present the app through, you'll see where the customers come to the coffee shop, that peak is way early in the morning, 6 to 9, 6 to 8. And then it goes down. And at the time it's going down is when people arrive at the
Right.
office. So
Gotcha.
it's an interesting little, whatever kind of graph that is. It's the same thing with the restaurant piece too. At night, the restaurant and the outdoor venue will swell, and then the office parking will reduce.
Yeah.
So we don't park over here, right?
Do you have any sort of reward or frequent shopper program? That's
Yes.
a question my wife already asked me. So,
That we do. We have one
Give your
currently at our
email
coffee
address.
shop at Dallas Seminary. It's buy 9, get 1 free. We're going to do something similar here. I'm sure we'll have other discounts for whether it's city employees or first responders or people with the school district and different things. So we're going to build those kind of things in. That helps, obviously, that helps us drive traffic to us, but it helps provide for the community and to be able to give back and show the engagement in that.
Awesome, thank you.
There's another, what you may hear about in the next presentation, but the co-create space, which is the collaborative workspace, they will actually receive, everyone who has an office in there or a workspace in there will receive a card of $100 every month that they can use towards the coffee shop or the restaurant. There's some perks to officing in Park Square too.
Good. Sounds good.
So one more question. So the 400,000 you guys are projecting to in sales, is that based off of the drive-through included or not included?
Yes, it is based on it included.
Got it.
That's 450,000. We came to those numbers two different ways. One based on our current operation and using a multiplier of that on the extra hours, the amount of traffic that we'll be able to get as well, and the extra days that we're open. The second way we came to that is the traffic counts. We were able to get the traffic counts of what's running through here on Collins Road. Roughly, you're going to get about 1.5% of those cars pulling into a coffee shop with a drive-through. And so with those numbers, understanding what's in the office complex and the traffic, in a sense, at the park, we did not include a lot at the school. We know we are going to get some of that as well. Those may be included in the drive-by traffic counts. So our numbers are projected based on having that, whether it's a physical drive-through or mobile
Yeah.
delivery type system. We believe we can hit those numbers.
High school students do drink coffee.
Yes.
And other drinks that are fancy,
If they get up early
that
enough.
their parents
Yeah.
pay for, right?
That's right.
We will have all kinds of coffee.
All right. Any other questions? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to presentation number 2, discuss and consider a presentation from Co-Create Exchange Sunnyvale.
Good evening. Derek already somewhat introduced our topic. As he stated, Co-Create is a collaborative workspace. Think of it as executive suites. Some of our competitors you may have heard of, WeWork, Common Desk, this idea of Regis. We're branding ourselves as the Sunnyvale Outer Rim area co-working, not co-working, but collaborative workspace executive suites. We also have one business in Heath that is in development right now on the sister project that Derek is doing. But when you look at Sunnyvale, You're gonna have to better. Well, she's doing that. Sunnyvale is home to some of Dallas's top executives. Many commute to Dallas. Some have offices here, but there's not a lot of space available. There's not a lot of space available to start a business. There's not a lot of space available to, excuse me, have a community space where there's meeting rooms, conference rooms, just an open area where it's inviting and the community can leverage to use. So they have to go out, Sunnyvale residents have to go elsewhere. Sunnyvale needs to offer these executives a place to build a relationship, a place to incubate a business, a place to grow their business, and we've chosen Sunnyvale Park Square. We've actually been part of this idea from the get-go of having this collaborative workspace in this office building. So we want Sunnyvale to have access to this, to grow, to incubate businesses, to be kind of that first tier of getting into growing business. So our solution is this collaborative workspace. We'll have 18 offices. We anticipate a variety of memberships. One of those memberships is an office membership, which is we call it premium membership. As Derek alluded to, an office member gets a $100 credit at the restaurant or at the coffee shop. The other membership that we have is just a premium membership, which anybody in the community can come, leverage our space, throw open their laptop, get high-speed internet, print, get free coffee. It's going to be Hope Coffee in the space, and get all the access to the amenities. We're going to have lots of technology baked into it. So you can kind of get the feel that it's a collaborative space where executives will want to come and share ideas. And we hope that every business deal that is done in Sunnyvale gets done in our space, because we'll have the amenities to make that happen. So we want to be this supportive community member for Sunnyvale's executives and keep as many people in the town throughout the day, rather than them going to Mesquite, Forney, Dallas. It just becomes a space that is the first space executives will think of. So Co-Create, we have a set of values, community, which this town fits the values. It's very community-centric. You get that hometown feel when you come here. Productivity, we want to be about productivity, doing things, getting things done, and service. Serving the community, serving our members, and being an active member in the chamber and all that comes with Sunnyvale. So our team, we have a legal architecture development who's helping us on the building. Myself, I'm in finances and investment, and Kent is our operations guy. And we will all be here in this building. We'll have our corporate headquarters in this building. So right now we're basically based out of Dallas, but we'll move here into this space and make this our permanent home, and hopefully become a worldwide headquarters if we continue to grow. The location, as you know, you've seen the building. We'll be on the back end facing the park above the parking garage. It's about 5,500 square feet as it's planned now. We'll have 3 conference rooms, have a workroom with a printer, 18 offices. Those big brown marks are tables, community tables, where people can come and open the laptop. Kind of a lounge area we can come and visit. We envision a lot of people going to eat lunch, and maybe the lunch meeting goes long and they need someplace private to go discuss. Well, they'll come up to our space, come into the lounge, or reserve a conference room and be able to finish their meeting at that point. So it's a very collaborative development with the whole development. We want to be a part of this whole thing. So our key outcomes for Sunnyvale is we want to incubate new businesses, be able to help form and develop these businesses. Our team, I haven't mentioned this yet, but our team has the skills to do back office operations. We'll have services offered to the members where we can do accounting, we can advise on legal, all that kind of stuff that startup businesses need. We'll have that infrastructure built in. We want to be a place where the movers and shakers of Sunnyvale can come and be a part of, have a community of executives, so that adds value to the city. We give flexibility to the city to allow people to choose a small office versus having to take a big lease. We want to use our space for events like the Chamber of Commerce events, school meetings. You kind of get the picture, just being very collaborative with the town. And we want to attract elsewhere, especially east of Sunnyvale. So as we look at executives coming from Terrell, from Forney that are traveling in, they can pull off front on Collins Road and come to the wonderful town of Sunnyvale and have their office here and still have proximity to Dallas, but be spending their tax dollars in this city. Like I said, we'll have our Co-Create headquarters here in the building. So we'll be here. That'll bring extra higher end salaries to the city, and we'll make sure that this area is successful because we're going to be right there. So we'll have our fingers in all of it. So we are asking for $50,000 from the Sunnyvale EDC. Entire project is $471,000. That includes all the infrastructure that we're going to have to do with AC, all the stuff interior. It's a shell building, so we got to come up with all that cash to finish out that space. And we also want to offer good service, so this grant would enable us to hire a full-time community manager that serves the town well.
What kind of revenue are you projected to bring into Sunny Valley?
Right now, our projections are around 480 to 500,000 per year. Our offices, they're all based on a membership level, so it's not like you're signing a long-term lease. So you become a member and you get access to this office, or you get access to the table. So with that, our revenue's based on that mechanism. And we'll have rentals, you can come and rent a conference room hourly. We hope more people choose the premium membership because that provides more value than just renting the conference room. But we hope we can exceed that. We have 3 cases, that's kind of our base case. The full case runs around 680 to 700,000.
So do you charge sales tax? I'm asking about revenue for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not a recognized sales tax event. What we will have, so if we have 100 members, we will be spending $10,000 at the coffee shop or the restaurant per month. So that incentivizes, that has a tax implication on it because we're spending our dollars at that point. Other than that, there's not much tax revenue based on this. It's kind of like a real estate membership.
Business personal property tax of the facility. And all
There's a
that,
little
right?
bit.
Yeah.
So our
But
FF&E,
it's- right.
yeah, it's
It's professional services,
Right.
so there's no sales
Yeah.
tax.
Right.
This is one of those, Mark, that is going to be, so if you essentially, if you look at it, they have 18 spaces that could essentially be leased out. So you could essentially have 18 new businesses in their one space that would have employees that would come and spend money at the coffee shop or the restaurant or Quick Trip or Chick-fil-A or wherever else we have them. So this would be thinking outside the box, not necessarily sales tax generated, but just the quality of life that it would bring to Sunnyvale.
Yeah, and one of the benefits to the city is that if you incubate a business, yeah, they're gonna take one office, but if it continues to grow, they're gonna outgrow our space. And if Park Square is completely leased out, we have the real estate architecture developer relationship to build more within Sunnyvale. So at some point, we'd like to see the downtown area develop to where our members would grow out of the space and into another larger facility within Sunnyvale. And with those businesses will come tax revenue. So we kind of become the leading edge to more taxable revenue.
Who's most of your clientele? What kind of business do they come from?
Yeah, in Heath, where we're at, we already have pre-members, pre-leasing, and we have a insulation building company, we have another building company, an appraisal company, we have counselors looking at us, lawyers, trying to think what else. That's about it right now, but
Real estate is also.
real estate consultants, we've had some insurance agencies look at it. So we're really flexible. You can take more than one office, obviously, and it's real flexible, so people tend to like that. For our premium membership, we'll have a lot of consultants, have a lot of mobile salesmen that would typically go work out of home or a Starbucks or something, so we'll try to capture that workforce here as well.
Are all your offices are they the same size or no?
They're varying in size. Some of our offices will facilitate a team, so you could have 2 or 3 people in the same office. Some of them are just small enough for one person.
Pull up that.
Yeah, that one you had
Yeah, so
mostly
the yellow are the
window
offices.
offices and then those 4 in the middle there
Yep.
of various sizes. And then, so what's a membership for a non-office person?
$480 comes with the food and all the amenities and 10 hours of conference room time. $350 gives you 4 hours of conference room time and no food or beverage.
How's
You have
this-
24-hour access, people, it's all technology infused, you can come in.
And then the example used of I'm assuming you said insulation, you're saying like spray foam or one of those types of things, but that's a sales tax generator. So if that's their headquarters office, then the sales tax for that business would be
Correct,
in town.
yep.
So, but somebody like me, I don't create sales tax.
Right.
Well, probably sounds like a lot of it you're going after is executives
Right.
type things, which is gonna be the same thing, professional services, where there's not gonna be a lot of sales tax right
Yeah.
in front of those. Or 18 one-person companies. So,
Right.
you know, it's the bigger picture, I think
Correct.
is what we have to look at it.
Yeah, and we'll have you, I mean, if we get certain, businesses coming in that are being incubated or in development, we'll be able to foster and grow and work in tandem with the EDC and Tracy and to grow that company and, make sure that we get the taxable revenue here. So, we'll have that in our mindset from the get-go.
Can you, two questions. One, soundproofing of the offices, or is that, I'm guessing that's part of the,
Yes.
and then two, if you get a membership, can you go to one of your other locations and use your 4
Yes.
hours or however many
Yeah.
hours of?
Yes, you can. So Heath is set to be open in about 10 days, hopefully. So any member that's in Heath will be able to come down here and hold a meeting the same way anybody from Sunnyvale can go to Heath. And as we continue to develop DFW and other towns, Texas and throughout the states, that same reciprocity, so to speak, will occur.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other questions? Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, we'll move into the discussion portion. Go to number 3, introduction of new Parks Director Burton Barr.
What was that? Sure. All right, well, I think I met all of y'all at the joint meeting. I've been here about 2 months, a little over 2 months now, and I've enjoyed it. So I came from the city of Cleveland. We had 12 different departments and 141 people in our division, so quite the change of pace. And I'm enjoying it. It's I think the opportunity, it allows me to be hands-on again. You get back to the basics of working with people and relationships and things. Just trying to come to work every day and earn my money, and do a good job and see things that I can, easy things that we can change. And appreciate the opportunity. And if you all have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
For me, you've been here, you said 2 months, so what are 3 things you would like to improve in terms of parks in Sunnyvale?
In terms of parks, I've spent quite a bit of time looking at the athletics fields. There's some obvious drainage issues. Trail system, I know, in the last meeting, it was heavily discussed. We're going into that time of year where grass is going to sleep, and we're going to be able to get some pruning and things like that done. I remember from the last meeting, canopy of some of the areas, as well as just opening up some areas. My plan is to right now we're in full-blown Christmas decoration mode, but as soon as we finish, I'd like to get everything mowed one more time, so that going into spring we're in. I would say the drainage, some weed issues that I would like to get addressed. Hopefully, emergent, post-emergent program, and folks from the various groups within, like our baseball We're gonna try to do some, we're gonna kind of try to set up the baseball infield with some different base distances, so it's evaluating the equipment that we have to work with, and operating. Where I came from, we had golf courses, or we had, a spray rig that we would use places that we would just loan out amongst our group. Ask about things, I'm just looking at the efficiencies, evaluating everything. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, so I have some opinions and some thoughts, but I haven't put everything to paper. And just still trying to see how the town is and get to know different facets of it. Every big towns and little towns, they're always similar, but they're also different in various.
Is there anything you see right off the bat that you're lacking as a group?
As far as
Just anything in general, equipment, could be anything.
I think there's some pieces of equipment. I wouldn't say lacking, just maybe changing a few things. And like I said, I have on hand. You might think, or I would think, that you could save some money, but when you look at it over the long haul, it may not be. Until I crunch those numbers and really sit down and think. Kind of like data collection right now. I've got so many different ideas on things, but at this thoughts.
We want to make sure, since, I was our board, we support the parks a lot, so we just
No,
want to make sure that,
And I appreciate that.
You could probably get with Tracy too, like we kind of started a program where we're rotating in basically a mower a year, was kind of our plan.
Right.
So, but that was based on advice, we'd certainly love to hear from you, not today, but once
Sure.
you do get pen to paper and look, is it the right equipment? Is that a good rotation every year?
Right. And that's exactly what I'm working on.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Is just going through those things, and I hope to, I don't hope, I will have, a good relationship with folks grounded in fact, and it'll be solid numbers. You'll have all the information laid out for you to make the best decision. That's why it's kind of a slow process for me, because I'm in a new place, and solid info, and not just partial this, partial that. I want it to be the full options available. So.
Yeah, one of the things we discussed earlier this year is whenever a piece of equipment was needed, it would just, we would just get asked, to buy a new mower or buy a new whatever it was. And so as part of what we contribute to the town, talked about this sort of this reserve, sort of like this replacement fund. So definitely would be interested in getting your thoughts on how best to talked about that.
It was one of the budget meetings.
Yeah, it's in the
Yeah,
budget.
it was
so-
back in the budget meeting, I think, because we had like this whole,
Well, and it's convenient because, my old place, I was kind of on an island. City Hall was off 2 miles. Very nice. So, is there any other questions?
I will have to commend the parks guys so the holiday decor that the EDC purchased came in, and it came in on 18-wheeler, which was not able to come into Town Hall and deliver it. So Burton and the parks guys went to Garland to pick it up, and it's a 400-pound piece of equipment that was purchased. So they've been doing great with getting together and in line and in order, and hopefully you'll see the decorations that were purchased up pretty soon after all that hard work.
We have, all of our staff should be here tomorrow, and I think we plan to start working. It should be pretty impressive. I think it's 25 feet long and 10 feet tall, and which definitely put some light on it.
Well, good.
Yeah.
All right, thank y'all.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to switch a few things up here. We're going to move on the discussion and action item. We're going to move to number 11 first. Discuss and consider the updated September 2018 financial reporting and related financial items.
Okay, the updates to the September end of fiscal year numbers includes another month of actual sales tax revenue. We still have 1 month of accrual included, so we'll have one more update after this, I believe. So our new updated 9/30 fiscal year fund balance is $2,844,357. So again, that's just to update the actual sales tax revenue.
Yeah, we'll have to do them separate.
I'll make a motion to approve the September financials.
Motion made by member Van Vessem,
Second.
seconded by member Weiss. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Move on to item number 12. Discuss and consider the October 2018 financial reporting and related financial items.
All right, so for October, we're starting with that revised end of September, beginning fund balance of $2,844,000. Got our October sales tax revenue of 63,000. I'm sorry, the sales tax revenue is 62.5. So our expenditures for this month are just our standard monthly payroll and other routine expenses, and we also had some EDC expenses for travel, and ending fund balance for the end of October is $2,000,005, and we still have our assigned expenditure set aside for Barnett Long Creek and Hope Development.
Any questions? Can I get a motion to accept the October 2018 financial report? Motion made by member Van Vessem, seconded by member Torres. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Thank you, fellas. All right, we'll move on to item number 4. Discuss and consider approval of the regular meeting minutes for March 20th, 2018.
I'll make a table of
What? Oh, yeah. All right, we're going to table number 4. Can we do that all at the same time?
Why are we tabling it?
They're
You
not
don't have
done.
that one
Oh,
in your
that one's not
packet.
in here, never mind.
All right, we'll move on to
I
item
read
number.
all of these. Are we tabling?
You did not read that one.
I did not.
Move on to item number 5. Discuss and consider approval of the regular meeting minutes for April 10th, 2018.
Move to approve. Motion
Second.
to approve.
Motion made by member Weiss, seconded by member Van Vessem. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Move on to item number 6. Discuss and consider approval of the regular meeting minutes for May 8th, 2018.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by member Van Vessem,
Second.
seconded by member Weiss. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Move on. Item number 7, we are going to table that one. Item number 8, we're going to table that one as well. Move on to item number 9. Discuss and consider approval of the special meeting minutes for April 2nd, 2018. joint session with 4A and 4B.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by member Bradford, seconded by member Van Vessem. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Move on to item number 10. Discuss and consider approval of the special meeting minutes for April 10th, 2018. Joint meeting with 4A, 4B, and Town Council. Motion made by member Bradford,
Second.
seconded by member Van Vessem. All those in favor? Passes unanimous.
Even though it was a very unfruitful meeting, I thought. Just kidding, Ryan.
Move on to item number 13. Discuss and consider Vineyard Park lighting.
So, my apologies, I just got this email from Park Electric this afternoon, almost 5 o'clock. I was in a meeting at 5 o'clock, so I have not looked at the document that is sitting on the dais from Park Electric that you have. It's an email from Park Electric on what the additional poles, and they have a new double-headed 500-watt light that they're proposing to put in these, which is higher wattage than the ones previously. So you'll see the email that if we stick with the same 6 poles, it's an additional $4,000. And if we decide to go with 8 poles, it's an additional $12,000 from the original price quote that was approved, which was for the LED lights at $64,378,000. And if you look on the printout page, if you unfold it, it gives you the lumens, the wattage, and it still looks like the center of the field
It's gonna be dim.
is dim, but then if you look on the back, they gave a Google image of what it would look like lit up. So it doesn't appear to look as dim as the lights are showing on the.
Is this with the 30s or 45s or what in terms of pole height?
There's still the 30-foot
30.
pole light.
Okay.
And you'll see that at the bottom of the email, the actual company
Okay,
RAB
yeah.
lighting.
Way down here in the bottom, yeah.
Do they recommend going to 8 poles?
Same thing.
Where would the 7th and 8th pole go?
In the middle.
I
They
thought we
would
were
be-
trying to avoid the middle, right?
Yeah.
It would go along the perimeter. So instead of the one light on the sides, you would have the 2 pole
Must
lights.
have 2, yeah, they must spread them out.
Okay, so
What
so
are the
let's
red dots
review
are?
all of our options.
Yeah.
So our options are taller poles or more poles.
The option is more additional poles.
Okay, but
So
not
they're
taller
still,
poles?
looks like they're still keeping it at the 30-foot pole height. They're just giving the option to add more poles, but what they've done is they've increased the wattage of the light from what was previously provided. So they're saying that the increased wattage of the light is going to increase the light on the fields. So it's moving the light out a little bit more than what was directed before.
So we'll have an increase for the better lights themselves, plus if we want to add more poles, instead of increasing
So
the
we
height,
don't have
that'll add more
one of
cost
these
as well.
light poles,
Correct.
because that would increase that.
Mm-hmm.
So do they have one of these graphs with the 8 poles?
No, this was all that was provided. He did say that there's a 3D imaging, I guess they're doing, but that won't be available till the end of the week.
Is that what this is?
Because wouldn't it
So,
still just light up the perimeter? though?
Honestly,
Just
because
before
I
it's
have
down?
not had a chance to look at this and ask any of the questions, I personally recommend probably just tabling this until January, until we had a chance to look at it a little further and and get all the documentation that they're providing.
So one thing on how to read this, one with the numbers.
Yes, sir.
One of my wife's nephews works in this field, and he reads these things, and I was showing him the previous one, and he told me, basically, if you see a 1 anywhere, that's like you're going to a commercial parking lot, like he mentioned Cisco's parking lot in Richardson at night, and a 1 is what they require, what all of those parking lots are. So I see here everything on the plane surface is 1 or above, except in the very corners.
But I bet if we do the 2,
Yeah, if you do the
this is where
2.
they're gonna go.
Would help there. So
Yeah.
having a diagram like this with the 8 poles, like you're saying, would definitely help. But it definitely improved from the single-headed one that we had before and the lower wattage one. Because I mean, you can see some 10s and above there.
And if we table it too, I can't find it. I had emailed a guy I know that does the baseball fields, and we were talking about lighting and LED and angles, and I'm almost certain that the 500 watt, I think it's this brand, that's why I can't find it, but I'll ask him about it. He said it's incredible what they can do compared to the old, not filament, but
Right.
it's just the brightness is extraordinarily better. And I think 500 watt is the, like you can host tournaments with that. I mean, it's not that we would, but that's a great improvement. That's what it looks like to me, especially with the LED. But if we're taking it, I'll find that out for sure, because it'd be nice for somebody to put those up. But his were 60 feet, so they have bigger racks, but, so more lights. But that wattage, I'm almost certain that's what he had recommended too.
So is this one pole has one of these lights on it and that's it?
2.
2, okay.
I think that's what the dots,
See the
the
2
two red
dots
dots,
on the 2.
like they're
2.
facing.
Oh, okay, I see.
And then you can angle them to reach out more to the middle.
Yeah,
You can kind of envision if you added 2 more on the sides, they'd probably move
Yep.
the ones on the others closer to the middle, and so it would,
Is there any reason to light up
I was just
the parking lot a little better or no? I mean, I haven't been out there at night to notice, but if there's 2 poles and,
Maybe some rear facing lights. I haven't been out there either.
yeah,
Not-
so it's hard to,
I'm not
as far
sure.
as safety
well,
and whatnot.
there's
what's
lights
happening.
already for
Is there?
the fire house.
the, Tracy and I met with David earlier on a different topic, but he briefly mentioned on the lighting that, you know, I mean, an analogy we use is kind of like somebody driving towards you with their headlights on. If their brights are on at a low angle, it's really bright, but you put your lows on and it faces down, well, it's the same thing. The higher you go with the lights, they're able to angle them more into the field,
Yeah.
so it doesn't impact the surrounding area as much. I mean, it's kind of counterintuitive. So the higher the lights, the less bleed over and the less blinding it is towards the surrounding area. So
More focused.
potentially, you could look at higher lights on the side away from the houses, and then the lower lights on the side with the houses, because it's not, you know. Of course, I don't know what's going to go in that other field over there someday, but potentially a higher light could
Yeah.
help if it would be approved.
Sounds like that 3D thing's gonna be super helpful.
Yeah.
So maybe when you get that, Tracy, you send up, that'd really help.
Neat. But the price wise on this looks good.
Yeah.
To me, I'd
I think,
lean towards the 8 poles.
Yeah, why not?
I think it makes sense not only from that, but the 5-year warranty on these, right? Eventually, 1 or 2 will fail. If we have 8 and 1 goes out, we don't have to go out there the next day to fix it.
Yeah.
Because the others will pick up the slack, basically. So definitely leaning on the 8, and be interested in knowing what the cost for replacement after the 5 years, just so that we know and put it in our budget to keep. keep maintaining this. I'm sure the cost will be different in 5 years, but it's the plan.
They keep getting better.
Just so we don't have a meeting in December?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to get this to rock and rolling.
It'd be nice to, yeah.
So do we really then need to wait? I mean, if we're like the thought of having the 8,
Yeah.
I mean, because.
I'm sorry, I totally blanked out there for a second, because I was gonna say something, and Michael was like, don't you dare. So, sorry, Javier, what?
No, I'm saying, do we really need to wait? I mean, if we approve this, how long before it can be actually done, you know? So we want to be ready for,
Yeah.
what, the spring, I assume? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll probably be cutting it.
We're cutting it close already, so can we approve it and then, I don't know.
I agree.
Y'all can do whatever you want. I didn't know if you had enough information to be able to fully make a decision. But if you feel like you do, absolutely you can approve it. The other thing would be, if you do approve it tonight, it would go before council December 10th for final approval. And then there's also an option that if y'all want to meet again in December, you can.
Would that give you enough time to get another one of these graphic things with the 8 poles before the council meeting?
Well, he's saying, according to this email, should have it by the end of the week.
Okay, so if we approve the 8 poles tonight, you would have any graphics to show council?
I essentially, yes.
I know council, one of the council members was also concerned about comparing this LED light versus what they put on the water tower. So I don't know if that's been asked of the Clark's Electric. Did they do the water tower?
They did not do the
Okay.
water.
So I just want to make sure when we go to council, we're bulletproof so
Yeah,
that
that's
we don't have to
fine.
be going back and forth, and that they can be at peace that it's a different light and it's a,
Yeah, because those lights on that water tower are terrible.
yeah.
It's like, what town do you live in? Don't worry about it.
So I don't know if there's a way to show Clark Electric what model of light they bought, and that way we can have some ammo to appease that council member. It's a good, valid point, I mean.
I'd like to see, definitely, I'm with Javier. I think we can move forward. We can move forward on this. It'd be good to see if the 8 lights and what it does to the middle, you know. I mean, if it goes up, you know, a couple numbers there, I'm sure that would make a huge difference, because it's 1.1 right in the middle of that.
Yeah, or if-
Depending on how you separate and put the fields, whether or not that's.
Or if on the parking lot side, if those 2 poles were increased in height, because there they don't have the setback that you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Well, that would be the other reason.
What that would do.
Maybe waiting to see if we can get some other pole height costs to see, because I'm sure with the pole height, that's gonna change.
The setback impacts the other 3 sides, but not the parking
Not the
lot
parking
side.
lot.
So does anybody have a preference to do a different pole height over additional poles?
Well, I think
Or
it's,
We get slowed down, right?
Well, for me, I think going with 8, and then if they could increase the height on those 2, if the combination of those 2 things helped meet the requirement of fully lighting the thing.
Okay, but I guess the question is if we were gonna vote tonight on approving this, we don't have enough if we're still wanting to consider taller poles in addition to new lights and more poles, we don't have enough information to make a motion.
Well, you could do plus or minus X grand, but we
That's what I
don't know
was
what,
thinking.
we don't know what
Well, we
taller
normally have
poles
to do
would
plus
cost.
or minus 10% anyway,
Yeah.
when
Right.
it's an estimated amount like this. But
You know how much a 15-foot pole extension costs? Yeah,
well, it's not just the pole; it's going to be the wiring up to the
Yeah.
pole.
Right.
Everything else, yeah.
That's going to be the expensive part.
but it's just interesting in here that it was 12,000 for 2 extra poles, including the upgraded,
Lights and everything.
wherever that email is, including the upgraded lights, so.
I
But
just pulled the
obviously
light,
when
the
you
lights
go,
look like they're roughly $1,500 for a single, so at this point, about $3 grand.
which made sense where the,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But even at 30 foot, I see nothing less than
Ones.
Yeah.
in the plane surface.
So if you added it, yeah.
If you add the two more, then it's gonna improve it a little on the edges where it's closer to 1.0, right?
Mhm.
So having them higher, do we need them higher? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think we're already getting what we need. Again, it's not a.
Plus functionally, it's gonna be little kids, smaller
Right.
kids soccer.
It's
You
not
know,
for competition or
It's
anything.
not,
It's for,
no, they can't kick 30 feet.
Right now, they're playing with a portable light.
Yeah, they're making it work with them trucks pulled up.
If y'all are good with it, let's go with it.
Let's vote on it.
Let's do it.
All right, I
I'm
make a
good.
motion that we, accept the bid from Park Electric for 2 additional poles and an upgrade on the lights to the LED option for $12,000 plus or minus 10%.
Second.
Motion made by member Bradford, seconded by member Van Vessem. All those in favor, passes unanimous. Move
That's
forward.
right.
Stamp it.
12 grand
Done.
above the,
Spend some money.
so what's the total dollar? That's what I was trying to find.
It should be up to
76,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
76,000.
I feel a lot
10%,
less than
so
that though.
Yeah.
85,000.
Well, and the McCaskill said that was an awesome deal.
Yeah,
price
I remember
wise.
300K or something that he was
Oh,
talking
yeah, that
about.
was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
was when we said,
Was that, you know,
Next year.
awesome thing? I didn't realize we could do that. My niece
Whatever.
did it.
Are we going to table 14?
I guess.
Yes, Nikki did not have any further discussion.
Okay, we will table item number 14 and move on to item number 15, discuss and consider 2018-2023 Economic Development Strategic Plan and Goals.
And this was just to see if, a reminder, we're finalizing our strategic plan, hopefully bring back in January, and the finished product for approval, and then have it approved by both boards and council January, February timeframe. So this was just an opportunity that if you thought of anything else or wanted anything else, you're.
I think just to include, just after hearing even tonight and looking at, a lot of the comments that have been made on our board and just even in the town is that a lot of the development is medical and things like that, which is fine. And now it's going to be a lot of professional. To maybe just even in our wording, have that be a goal at least, that sales tax generating businesses are, just kind of spell that out, that we want layers of those things, but with with very little that we have now. And there's such a need for finances from the school to the town to just, I don't know if we want to spell that out even in our mission statement.
But they like population of people coming to the town or staying in the town helps, right? As far as
Right.
Yeah, there's those intangibles, but we need money now. So the Quick Trips of the world or the fast food restaurants or those things are going to generate.
But if we don't have those industries that create the daytime population, it's going to be harder to get the retailers that create the sales tax dollars. So your incubators, like the co-create space, the medical office space, those are creating daytime population numbers to be able to generate the companies that will essentially create sales tax.
Yeah, like when we went to that conference years ago,
I see, I see.
that was one of the things they asked, or on our packet, this is our daytime population, it's low, okay, I don't know if you can really manage having a new restaurant or something because of it, lunch population, right,
I
so.
mean, a lot of your smaller retailers look at about a daytime population of around 10,000, and I got our recent numbers back, and I know on the slideshow, I think it said around 3,000, something like that. I got the official document back now that says our daytime population is only about 1,800. So
we don't have
when
a
you,
nighttime population of 10,000.
Yeah,
No.
and this space isn't going to help much. you know.
Yeah, but the one thing that people continually bring up, and when we're looking at the 80 and development, you know, they want high quality, high end retail and all that kind of stuff, which you're not going to get any of that until
Right.
you have the
Population.
more affluent daytime population.
Mhm.
So yeah, it is finding that balance. But I agree with you though around the.
Well, unless you have the destination type places.
Correct.
You know, where you're attracting a special, you know,
I think that's gonna be
But they
on.
kind of
that's what we're gonna need to start
that's what's going-
targeting.
his argument was if you help us, we'll help create the destination. You know,
Yeah.
so it's.
Chicken neck.
But then it's the chicken and the egg, because you're not gonna have people traveling on that road if there's nothing to
Right.
travel to,
Mhm.
so. I don't know.
Always the $1,000,000 question.
Yes, it is.
All right.
So
Any
that,
other question?
that essentially was the only reason that was on here, was just double check, make sure nobody wanted to add anything, had any questions.
All right. All right, we'll move on to item number 16. Discuss and consider appointing a member of the 4B board to sit on a downtown vision committee.
So in our strategic planning session that we had with 4A and town council, we talked about the idea of downtown development. Downtown development has been more the 4A focus than it has been the 4B focus. But in looking at everything, and Mr. Cash really wanted to look at purchasing properties, see how we can develop a downtown and go that route. So in thinking about things and how to move forward with downtown, thinking of creating a committee to be able to get a vision for downtown. Because one of the things that we don't really have is does anybody know what the vision of downtown Sunnyvale looks like? When it comes to light poles, when it comes to businesses, when it comes to the look or feel, nobody can honestly answer that. So if we appoint somebody from our boards, the 4A, 4B, the chamber, the town council, and then you have Leslie and I sitting on a committee, and have the appointed committee come up with kind of a game plan, a task, what this committee would be charged with, timeframes, timelines, and create a mission for what this committee should do, and then include our stakeholders, which would include our downtown property owners, maybe a representative from Trinity Bank, from Derek's property, and kind of all work together to see what the vision of the downtown. Really, that's what this is to maybe appoint a 4B board member. And granted, y'all are the first committee that this is coming before. It has not come before any other board or commission yet. So talked to the mayor about it, and Terry and him talked on how to kind of form this and formulate what to do. And so the idea was that if we had appointed members from the boards and commissions from the town, and then after that create our mission and a task for this committee, and then develop the bigger committee.
So one of the things we had talked about at that joint meeting was 4A and 4B meeting together first, to at least come up with our joint vision, and then meeting with stakeholders and going to council and so forth.
It completely up to you. Throwing this out there as it just seems to make sense to get, because we can sit here and talk till we're blue in the face, but until the property owners or anybody else is involved, how do we know? I mean, we kind of see our vision, and hopefully we can come up with a vision before we add, so that everybody's kind of on the same page before we add stakeholders.
Right, that's what I was saying, is I think it would be important for at least 4A and 4B to be on the same page first.
Well, I think that's the idea of the committees, 4A, 4B, town council, everybody on the same page. So having a committee of those members that we can get on the same page, and then create this idea of what this committee will move forward with and what it will be tasked with, and then bring that back before everybody. And
So it's a liaison.
Liaison.
So we
Basically,
communicate our vision to whoever our representative is, and then that person.
But that's not what we did on the Glacier
It's
Committee,
more like the Glacier Committee.
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it's sort of like an independent
Yeah.
deal. It's not,
Well, it wasn't independent in the sense that we had a direction that we were told to move in, and that was the direction that we went in. So still tasked with something,
Whatever.
For me
it takes.
personally, I think the quicker we get to a
Yeah, something.
general consensus of the town, the boards in the town as a whole, that is a general concept, and then get the stakeholders involved, because we can create a perfect plan, and if they don't like it, it doesn't mean anything, so.
Mhm.
Getting the general concept together and then getting the stakeholders involved early, to me, is important.
I mean, I'm open to suggestions, ideas.
Well,
It's
I
just-
think the
I mean,
stakeholder, somebody that's connected with the stakeholder is gonna be part of this group as well.
Well, so maybe I was misunderstanding, but my understanding of what you were saying is that we come to a consensus of kind of the perfect vision of what we would like to see, and then involve the stakeholders?
so the way, let me just put this out there. I don't necessarily have a preference
Right.
for how it's done. I was just comparing what's being proposed now to what we walked away from our joint meeting as the next steps, because to me, they just sound different.
Different.
So, I'm not saying it's bad or whatever, I'm just, you know me, I'm just always.
I think in this case,
Comparing my lists.
they're kind of looking at having maybe a smaller group meeting to where it's not us and 4A and 4B. And,
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I
think
you know,
that's
town
perfectly
council, we got
fine.
38 people, and
Move
we're
faster on
like,
this.
we made no progress. So the smaller group looks at it and says, well, what about this? Or,
I think
yeah,
my, I think my only point or concern, I guess, is that this project, while all of the stakeholders are important and we need to make sure that everyone's on board to a certain extent, this is a primary goal of the 4A and 4B economic development boards. So I just think it makes sense for at least 4A and 4B to have something in mind. I don't know. It's just one way to go. Plus, I'm not volunteering to be on the committee, and I'm probably not the best person to be on the committee. But just for example, if I were to be on the committee, I would have no idea what anybody else on the board would want me to say. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's super preliminary too, right? I mean, we don't know.
We don't know what we can do. We can do it in parallel, right? We could nominate somebody to be a stakeholder in this group and also work amongst each other to determine what we want to do.
So we don't know if we have 20 acres, do we have 100 acres, you know,
How
we
much
have
money?
0 acres
Yeah.
right now. And I'm not saying it's not, it's just in the infancy.
Yes, and then also, I guess if you, just while you're talking, think about it, I mean, Home Rule's meeting next door, so the Home Rule Charter Committee meets, and they're talking about ideas and thoughts to do with the Home Rule Charter, and then it's presented to council to say, here's what we talked about, here's our options, here's our things, and so if you have that continuous kind of, you know, monthly update on what's going on to get feedback from the boards or council as this committee is moving forward, then you always have that kind of buy-in.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I think the committee is a good idea. I was just thinking maybe we needed a quick pre-meeting before we go off on the committee route. That was all what I was saying.
So effectively make sure whoever's representing
4A and 4B
is in
has a
agreement
good
with
vision
4B.
and are in agreement with each other to a certain extent, since this is sort of our joint project, but
Yeah,
that's it.
I agree with that.
I'm done.
I mean, I like the idea of the concept, but I agree that whoever represents 4B should
Understand.
hear out what 4B would like to see. And
Yeah.
But I also agree with what you were saying, is it can be done in parallel, where if we are going to make it an agenda item on our regular meeting schedule, in conjunction with the timing of the committee meetings, and there's open communication, that's fine. I was envisioning it like the Glacier Committee, where there's like no discussion, and the committee member is off doing their thing, and we don't talk about it.
And I don't want to derail us with this, but to me, just learning what we learned from our property at the southeast corner of Collins. And 80, how much say will we truly have anyway? It's gonna be purchased not by us, or necessarily, certainly, or are we going to develop? No, we're
yeah.
not.
I think that's one of the discussion points, so we talked about in our joint meeting, will it be a purchase, will it be, that's all of the things that are probably gonna be discussed by
Yeah.
the committee is.
It
what is
depends on the
what is
level of
end game?
participation the town chooses to take, either at our level or the town as a whole. Because they can have no participation other than approving the plans, and,
And that's where the
or they
property
can
owners
take-
are gonna come in as well, right?
or they can take participation at a financial aspect with us doing incentives and all that, where you can help shape
But
the
it'll be a
appearance and the
developer,
infrastructure.
same type of thing, that will be trying to draw in businesses to this downtown that we envisioned.
Or if it's a partnership, then we would be doing that with them.
Okay.
So I think going forward with putting together the committee is a good idea, and then I think we can decide how we wanna handle
Okay.
getting our input. I just was,
But I don't know, I think Nikki has certainly spoke up several times, and I hate to
And
do that.
Nikki she would like me to relay that she wants to be on the committee if
I was
so
gonna ask
chosen.
her because she's not at this meeting.
Yeah,
Volunteer.
That's what happened.
You're watching.
I think she'd be good at it.
That's how I became treasurer that one year. I
Exactly.
wasn't in the
Yeah.
It's fine with me. If everybody agrees to throw her under the bus, so to speak.
Well, she's mentioned, I
No, I know.
I forgot about
Yeah,
that, but
she's
she's
been-
mentioned
she's
that
been
based
very
on her
passionate
experience in
about it.
Memphis
Yeah.
and other
Definitely
communities.
has
and-
opinions, whereas I do not.
Yeah. And we've been presented pictures of other
Concept.
downtowns, what they look like, what they can be. So I'm good with
I'd volunteer.
volunteering.
Working on the
Nikki.
trails is my thing.
Yeah, you've got enough going, I'm sure. So
Yep.
we good with that?
Unless you wanna do
You
something.
just need to appoint her.
Take out the motion. Okay.
All right.
Do we have to vote?
Oh, we do?
I make a motion that we, appoint, member Anthony as our 4B representative.
Motion made by member Bradford,
Second?
second by member Van Vessem. All those in favor? Passed unanimous.
Congratulations.
She's got it.
Got volunteer.
All right, move on to item number 17. Discuss and consider marketing flyers and website flip book from the Flyer View Group.
So in preparation for the ICSC conference, we need some marketing material. One, to be able to show and utilize as we're at the conference. And then two, just as an additional option, which on your dais, you'll see the price quote from Flyer View. That's for 500 printed brochures as well as a digital map. And if you can
Where's that?
pull it up on your iPad, if you have it, I sent you a link to what it looks like online.
Does it have-
But
Is it with the
here
packet?
Oh, no, there's
They're
one.
going places, man.
In the packet?
In the packet on the staff memo sheet.
Ah.
It's horses. Oh, shoot, where did
And-
it go? Oh,
Hey,
a problem
busted.
occurred.
So this is essentially the map that we're looking at.
They even have a similar-
Just kind
Similar
of
logo
would
and
have Sunnyvale on the front, and as you shows where Sunnyvale would be, and then you open it up. Show this nice big map of Sunnyvale, and then you can break it out into the smaller pieces. And then on the back would have all the demographic information, highlights, anything else we want to put in. So there's several different designs if you want to take a look. I personally liked this one, so not just because it had horses on the front, but there's different design concepts of maps. It just looked, if you want to know where something is, you open it up and immediately there's the map that shows where it is. So the layout and design of that one just kind of
I
was,
bet there's more cows in Sunnyvale than horses.
Probably.
Can we get copies of our Sunnyvale one whenever we get one?
sure.
I like this better than the Bumblebee.
How many copies did you say you were getting?
So this one includes 500 copies. You'll see the 3,000 is for the first 100, and then the litho reprint, $1 per book for 400.
Oh, okay.
So 500 books,
They rip easy.
and
That's why we
then
kind of next thing.
these would be split, this cost would be split between you and 4A, so it would just be right under $5,000.
Well, we only get 400 of these?
500.
And you're gonna take 500 to the IS,
No,
oh.
these would, I mean, I would take some with me to the
So,
conference, yes.
so the
absolutely,
town,
but-
you would have some here at the town as well?
Yeah,
Extras.
oh, yes, I mean,
Okay.
essentially they're, for any trade
So
show
maybe we can
that
get town
goes
council to buy in on some of that as well.
No, I think the EDC can.
Well, this would be something you'd hand out if somebody walked in the door up here,
Yeah,
right?
sit down in meetings and show them, and, I mean, it can be utilized for all sorts of things. And then I think having the digital version online is just because everybody now is looking at your website first before they contact you, so having that show on the website would be a great thing.
So what is this
Hey.
annual renewal thing?
Just for the package on the map on the website.
Hey,
Just
Burton,
charge you an annual renewal fee of $1,000.
I know you have a long ride. Is there something you wanna stay for, or? I mean, I just know you got a nice ride ahead of you, so,
I'm good.
okay.
Leaps in the horse
I
step.
didn't,
Take it all in.
It's exhilarating.
We enjoy your company.
Do you have a room in the stables yet?
Yeah.
Here, you can pass that down and figure out how to fold it back up.
Like a Sunday paper.
So does
So
the
what would
digital copy
Who
of
would
this?
pick what we put on the cover and all that good?
So I would put it together and then get y'all's input and get any corrections, definitely have you look at it, double check it. There'll be a lot of information and data on there
Population
that will
stats.
get started ASAP, because ICSC is in a month, so.
Yeah.
But they assure me they can do it as long as on our end we are quick.
So
and
how many-
you think you got enough information to
Yes.
put this together?
I do.
And since this is less than 10,000, we can
One is split.
push
but
it through.
It
Split
would be
for-
only
Split for
5,000,
a
up to
improvement.
5,000 on y'all's part. With an annual renewal of half of that, up to $500.
Now, what do you get with the annual renewal
Just to be able to keep the map on the website.
on the website?
For $1,000
The map of,
a year?
So you'll have to click on that link to show that it's on the
Yeah.
staff.
yeah, I've got it up, but it looks like it's just
PDF, right?
the PDF of the booklet.
Oh, you've got it, just click little pages, essentially, yes.
Place that
I mean, are we hosting it on their website then?
And it comes onto our website.
So just as somebody who does this for a living,
So
this would be one of those we try to
that is
sneak
the-
in.
That renewal fee and stuff is that if we have edits, we can edit it, unlimited edits, you can edit it as much as you want online, where you can't do that in the print version. So
Okay,
they're
so
essentially
we can-
charging
so
you
we can
for
update.
updates and all of that.
Like next year when we have stuff actually
Yeah.
to show, or whenever stuff is on there.
When we have more retailers we can put on there.
I'm good. I don't like recurring.
So, you'll be able to, like, say you got page, whatever, however it's set up. Say you need to change this one page, okay, and add Chick-fil-A, whatever it is. You're gonna be able to go in there and just change that, update it?
They will do that.
They will do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is there any limitations that you know to how many changes we can make for the $500?
They're unlimited.
Okay.
Says unlimited edits to content for a 12-month period.
So you're taking this to where? What conference?
The ICFC conference, the International Council of Shopping Center Retail Conference.
Where is that? Where is that?
This year, it's changed. It's normally in October in Dallas, but they've changed it to incorporate not only Texas, but Louisiana, Oklahoma, and I think Arkansas. And they're moving it to Fort Worth, and they're moving the date to January.
I was just thinking through some of this, like this proximity map. You know, I'd actually zoom in on Dallas
Mm-hmm.
because anybody we would want to attract would obviously know where Dallas is. So I mean, it would be more important to centralize us to where we're located on a micro scale instead of a macro scale for the state. You know, and then whatever you put on the cover would need to line up with what our economic incentive or our economic goals are. I mean, you want to paint the picture of what Sunnyvale is, but this, when you look at it, it primarily looks like it's a horse community that would like a specific class of people to move there. When you read through their demographics and everything else, so it's,
A little different.
yeah.
Read it in a week.
Yeah, I know.
I'm good with it. So we're basically putting you in charge of content. Is how, yeah.
Yeah.
And you think this would be a useful tool, or are these people gonna put them in their bag and have 10 of these and never open it?
Yes, probably.
Both?
But if I don't have anything to show them, then it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I can see if they have interest for sure. That's great.
Is there anything
Let's put it out
else
on
then
the table and
to stand out as opposed to if everybody does this? Is there something different?
Yeah. Something.
Well, we tried that Bumblebee book.
We tried the thumb drive one time, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, I still have one.
Yeah.
Co-serve electric. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like this one, Pilot Point. You know, as soon as I see Pilot Point, I think lake.
Yep.
And until you open the map up, you have no idea that Pilot Point's near a lake.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I can also utilize them when I utilize the co-create space, have a meeting.
where all the locations are, yeah. Here's the regional one that you were wanting.
Yeah,
It's just
something like that.
inside
yeah,
instead of,
but the one with Texas to me seems like a wasted page. Because if you're looking at it, you should.
know where
There's
that
no
is.
Dallas if you don't.
But sometimes you're talking to retailers and restaurants that are
Yeah.
out of state,
Yeah,
and
they don't know exactly
They
where
don't.
you're at.
yeah, they don't even know where Dallas.
Oh, you're north of
They
Dallas.
might not know where Dallas
Oh,
is in
you're
relation
south
to-
of Fort Worth, and we don't want whatever.
or they think we're in California.
Yep.
Exactly. Sunnyvale, California.
Okay, so you just need us to approve the expense, and then you're, like I said, you're in charge of
Content's
content.
next. Yeah.
Too. But
I'm good with it.
Pricey, but yeah, it's a necessary tool.
All right, I make a motion that we approve the invoice from Flyer View Group for the
School.
custom flyers to be split with, between 4A and 4B for a total cost of $9,995.
Second,
With the addition
Motion.
of the annual renewal.
With the addition of the annual renewal of $995.
second.
Motion made by member Bradford, seconded by member Van Vessem. All those in favor to approve the flyer view, passes unanimous.
Thank you.
All right, move on to item number 18, Economic Development Director updates.
Just a few quick things. One, just wanted to let y'all know that we have been a member of the Dallas-Fort Worth marketing team, but we've never been a paying member.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, has been. If you pay $500 for a membership to the Dallas-Fort Worth marketing team, then you get invited to more marketing events with site consultants that they host. So I opted to pay into the membership for the Dallas-Fort Worth marketing team to be able to utilize that and be able to visit more site consultants around the area. And whenever they host them from outside of the U.S., you get invited to these things, to which as a non-paying member, you don't get invited to. So just another way to put ourselves out there to be able to network and market with the site consultants around the U.S. Trail Master Plan, our last updated Trail Master Plan was in 2015. It's been updated twice. And next year, we really need to look at redoing an entire Trail Master Plan. One, it needs to be renewed every 5 years, but because it has only been updated the last couple of years, we need to look at a whole complete new master plan. And that will help with grants, because if we don't have it updated, then it will hurt with grant process as well. So
Can't we just copy what we've already done because nothing's changed?
Well, we've got the addition of the new neighborhoods that have actually built trails, so.
That's true.
And
There's
some-
a lot,
Most
actually,
of
there's.
those were already like dotted in on the plan that we
Right,
have,
but you
right?
can.
And we
Yeah, I mean,
have,
it's
like,
so
our planner has walked, he came down one weekend and just walked the trails with his dogs. And some area, we don't necessarily have the trail connected on the master trail map. So he's gone in and he kind of drew me a little map where it was connected, that it wasn't showing on the map, or that there was a dotted line, but now it's actually there. So, I mean, we have filled in since our last update.
Yeah, plus there's like a star where 190 is gonna be a future park. That needs to be removed and updated now that the route is maybe finalized, I don't know.
So I wanted to give you all a heads up that this will be coming as we do this.
Logo tire.
All right.
Logo attire. I finally got your stuff. I'm waiting on James. And then I will finally get y'all's logo
Oh, yeah.
stuff ordered. Yes.
Fancy.
Those that,
Yeah,
those that
wonder-
wanted, if you said that you did not want anything and you've changed your mind since, please let me know.
Did you pick some?
I don't even remember what we were supposed to look at.
Was the camo okay with council?
I was told that the logo would not look good on the camera.
Good.
Oh,
You can go green.
yeah, solid green.
Guess we're
Green
ahead.
for parks, right?
Glacier Track Master Plan, council has approved for us to move forward with the hiring of David McCaskill to create the master plan. So that has been signed off, and we will look at doing a kickoff meeting for that in the third week of January. Just talked with David this afternoon about that. Downtown lighting on Collins, council has determined a light that they would like to see on Collins. Gave them some ideas of some pictures. They picked one light, working with Lyle, and we met with the lighting company. Today's only Tuesday. Yesterday, and they are getting us price quotes on what they think the poles will cost, the amount of footage between each one, so that we can take that and put it into the bid process, so that the bidding process will go out in January, and that will all be part of the bid package at that point.
All right. We'll move on to item number 19, discuss future agenda items and events.
So your next meeting is, we do not have a December meeting. We'll meet again January 8th. On December 5th, the chamber is having their 4th annual awards luncheon here from 11:30 to 1. If anybody is interested in wanting to attend, let Terry know. It's $20 to attend. Regular town council meeting, the last town council meeting of the year as far as their regular meetings goes, December 10th. Our next quarterly Parks Department breakfast is December 12th at 7:30 a.m. at Bull's Pen. If anybody's interested, it's our quarterly, we just take the Parks Department guys out for a breakfast quarterly, just thank them for all that they do.
The Mesquite Bulls pen, I guess? or-
Yes, the Mesquite Bull's
Okay.
Pen.
Formal.
We do not have a
Sunnyvale.
breakfast place in Sunnyvale to take them to.
We got Sonny's Donuts.
Here.
We do have a couple donut stores, and we do have Subway for breakfast, yes, but Pretty soon we will have a
CVS.
breakfast restaurant next door. We can take
Bag
it.
of Petter donuts, throw them in them.
Town hall is closed December 24th, 25th, and January 1st. Unless there are any other agenda items you would like to see.
Yeah, right.
Nope. Trying to get these agenda items a little less and added more.
Well, that's your fault for combining 2 meetings into one.
I think we agreed on that. I think we agreed on that.
There's a lot going on.
Okay.
I tabled a whole bunch of items for you.
You're awesome. All right.
Oh, and just it's not a future update, but it's Javier's birthday celebration this month. So
Oh,
Oh, man.
Party
on your
man.
way
Is
to
it? You don't even know.
executive
I'm like,
session,
oh,
there
yeah.
is tres leches
Yeah.
cake in the.
Oh, man. Three.
Oh, wow.
Three milk cake.
What a deal.
Thank you.
All right, then. That sounds like a plan.
When I adjourn us into executive session.
Yes.
We're good.
Yeah, it's cake now.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's true.
All right, we will adjourn into executive session at 8:11 p.m. Section 551.087, Economic Development, Project Tenant, Project Bader, Project Atmosphere, Project Breakfast, and B, Section 551.072, Deliberations about Real Property, Lake Ray Hubbard, SES Rail Spur.